Welcome back, Nine World Chronicles audience, to this episode, or whatever we're going to call it, of Nine World Chronicles. And today, I very specifically wanted to focus on one of the unsung heroes of mythology. You know, those guys we never talk about outside of whatever particular myth that they're a part of, even though they may have played some important roles in saving the world. And that's what we have here. We've got this guy. He is Utnapishtim. Now you might say, who is Utnapishtim? And why are we talking about Utnapishtim right now? I've never heard of this guy. And the reason you never heard of this guy is because nobody ever hears of this particular guy. Even though he's involved in one of the most epic mythological tales of all time. Now, Utnapishtim was the original Moses. Before there was any biblical flood account, there was this guy. This is the first guy. This is the first Noah. This is Noah before Noah. And let me tell you about him. This guy lived in Uruk. He lived during the reign of Gilgamesh, who we all know about Gilgamesh, right? The jerk who killed Umbaba for no reason at all, right? That guy used to run around raping everybody. Utnapishtim lived in Uruk during this period of time. And if you guys are not completely aware of the story, like the circumstances under which the regular people of Uruk lived under, not only was your king just a raging rapist, right? You also had gods who totally did not care about you at all. The gods didn't care about them. In fact, the gods, the Sumerian gods, didn't care about their people so much that they were actually just going to kill them. They were going to wipe them all out. This is where the actual flood account story comes from. Just to give you a little backstory on what Utnapishtim, and all of his friends were dealing with, we're talking like 4,000 years ago, roughly, second millennium BCE, something like that. We're in that range. 2,000 years ago, we're in that range. 4,000 years ago, you're out with everybody. You know, it's I don't know. Maybe there was a Super Bowl in Uruk. I don't know what happened. It was some kind of a celebration. People were feeling good about themselves, right? And they just happened to make too much noise. So this noise was so troubling to these so-called gods of Uruk, the Sumerian gods, that they all got together and said, let's kill everybody. Let's just wipe everybody out. And you know what? They all said, yeah, let's do that. That was actually a good idea for them, was to wipe everybody out. So they got together, and this isn't all the gods. I'm not going to say all the Sumerian gods were D-holes like that. I'm not going to say that. Because, of course, there was Ea, who was the one god who's like, man, I can't let this go down. But it's probably like nine, I don't know how many, I think there's 8 other gods. They're all against him. So this flood account is going to go down. Because remember, humans were making too much noise. That's how it went down. My neighbors have dogs that bark nonstop. I've never thought about bringing a flood down on any of them. I don't know if it will work anyways. So Ea, being the one Sumerian god who was cool enough with all the rest of us, say, I don't want to see all you guys die in this flood. He comes down to Utnapishtim. And he says, hey, look, I'm going to need you to get rid of all your worldly possessions and build this ark because it's about to go down. This is about to be bad. So Utnapishtim immediately stops all his labors and starts preparing this ark, which they would call the Preserver of Life. That'll be a very important name that we'll go into more details about that specific ark. Because this is the first ark that ever saved anybody. This is the first one. And the way the story tells it is that Ea just drew this thing on the ground. Utnapishtim remembered the designs, went off and built this thing. And here's the thing. He did it in 7 days. It's an amazing feat when you probably didn't have hammers or nails, things like that. He might have been the first guy to actually build an ark. But he does it. He does it. And he loads up. You know, he gets his own family. He doesn't really help out all of us. I guess we all descend from him. Gets his own family, gets a lot of the craftsmen, all the important craftsmen from his city, gathers up a few people, and then gets all the, because Ea told you have to get all the animals and all the grains, because everything's going to be wiped out. Although I don't understand how you wipe out grains. I think the grains will still be there. So we start to recognize the story. This is how flood accounts work. Get up everything you can, get samples of everything. So he does this and he builds this ark. Now this ark was different. It was a very large size ark. They do go into details, but what scared me about it is once you're in the ark, and this is divided into 9 sections. I guess you kept various types of animals and grains in different sections away from the humans. They seal this ark up, so you can't even get light into this ark. You're just in this bad boy. How do they survive in this thing? I'm claustrophobic. This would have been a nightmare for me. So I couldn't have gone in the ark, or they would have to put me like, topside or something like that. I don't know if that was possible. So they get in this ark and they go out, and this goes for 12 days that they're in the ark. Then finally, Utnapishtim runs the ship into ground, right? And bottoms out. But he opens it up and all you can see is water. So at first he takes a dove. And he takes the dove out, and he's like, let's send the dove out. And the dove goes, and it can't find any land. So the dove, of course, this is starting to sound familiar to you guys, right? The dove, of course, can't find land. The dove comes back, sends forth another dove, and this one goes out, and it also can't find land. So he then sends the raven, the longest flying of all of them. The raven goes out, and the raven can't find land. So Utnapishtim wisely says, you know what? I better make a sacrifice to the gods. And that's what he does. He takes some of the animals, he makes a sacrifice to the gods, and the gods reveal the dry land to him. He lands a ship, and then they repopulate the earth. Literally, he repopulates the earth. Way before anybody, way before Moses or Noah. I can't even keep them straight. I'm sure it's your guy Noah who bit off of him, right? You did a great job, but you weren't quite Utnapishtim. The comparison, I'm gonna give Noah Kobe status, being that Utnapishtim is the Michael Jordan here, right? And the reason he's even better than Noah is, check this out, they did such a good job that the gods, who should have been mad that he ruined their plan to destroy everybody, actually made him and his wife immortal. And now they get to go live with the gods. So that's how he gets the ultimate championship, which is why he beats out Noah, because not only was he Noah before Noah, he also became a true immortal because of how well of a job that he did putting this ark together, the first one ever. Everything he did, he was an innovator. He was absolutely an innovator about. And now we all get to live because of him. So if you guys were unaware of this character, Utnapishtim, it's a guy that we need to put some respect behind his name. The first guy dealing with a biblical flood, the first guy tasked by God to go build an ark, does it all flawlessly, and thanks to him, or at least per the mythology, that's why we all get to continue to live, which is something I enjoy. I enjoy being here and sitting around talking about mythology with you guys. It is absolutely awesome. So that's our piece for tonight. Just something short, just so we can continue talking about deities, showing some love for someone who needs it. They always say give people their roses. Give people their roses when they're alive. Definitely give them their roses 4,000 years after they died, helping us out. This guy, Utnapishtim, granted, he's got a terrible name. I'm sure back in Uruk, this name flowed. Doesn't work now. Noah flows a whole lot better off the tongue. Utnapishtim, nobody wants to name their kids after that guy. But he saved us all. And you guys owe him if you're going back to the specific Sumerian mythology of the flood account. So thank you again for stopping at Nine World Chronicles. We're just having a little fun, showing some love for our ancient mythological figures. There's more about Gilgamesh. I've done some pieces on him, done some talk about Uruk, but just wanted to revisit, kind of show him a little bit of love. As always, thank you for stopping in. We know you could have been out watching some other videos, but you stopped here to watch me for just a little bit of time, and I appreciate that. Please like and subscribe, and always go watch more videos.